Well, good day, everybody. I'm Russ Reed, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Center for the Biotechnology Workforce here at Forsyth Technical Community College in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I'm actually very delighted today. We have two very special guests, Melissa Smith and Selena McHone, and they share a common bond. They're both magnetic resonance imaging program. Selena being a graduate, and Melissa being the program coordinator and professor. And so we're just delighted to have them here today. And, always at the helm, doing the technical part is Sean Killebrew. Sean, Selena, Melissa, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So this is a very special day because Melissa, you have a very special honor, and I've got to tell you that on behalf of the college, we are just so proud of you. You actually have been nominated and won the North Carolina Community College Teacher Excellence Award for 2022. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're very, very proud of you. So tell me a little bit, Melissa, about your background, how you came to the college, and anything you can to tell us a little bit more about our special guest, Selena.
And Russ, and it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me and having Selena and highlighting some of the fantastic work she's doing with artificial intelligence. And first of all, I'm a community college graduate, actually graduated from SciTech in the radiography program and then the MR program. I worked in clinical practice for many years and found myself with an opportunity to come here and be a teacher. And I've been here 11, 12 years now, working first as an instructor in clinical and then a classroom instructor and now program coordinator of the MR program. And I'm always one of the things that has been my favorite thing about teaching is just having these relationships with our students and following them even after graduation. And, sometimes they'll come back and say, I'm looking to move or I'm looking for another job or what I want to continue my education. And so Selena McHone is one that she graduated in 2014. And I've always kind of watched her trajectory from graduation through practice. And so when she took this job with VIZ.ai as a clinical, as a customer service associate and soon to be a senior clinical specialist, I thought, what an interesting topic. And I'm so glad that you agreed. And we're going to bring her on today to discuss what she's doing, especially in the incredible work of early detection of stroke.
Well, welcome both. And Melissa, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Selena.
Hello, everyone. Happy
So
to be.
Fantastic. And again, such a pleasure. And like I just said, you are a 2014 graduate, which was that was a great class too. I thought all my classes are great. But tell us about your background, first of all, because, where did you get starting and how did you get from here? And why did you come to Forsyth Tech as a student, and kind of about your clinical practice when you were in the program?
Okay. So straight out of high school, I knew I wanted to go into the medical field. I wasn't sure which avenue I wanted to take. I actually started at UNC Greensboro. And with that, they kind of instructed me to go the public health route. So I went through public health. While there, I actually did some research in imaging, and I said, you know what? MRI sounds amazing. MRI sounds like it would be the best fit for me. So actually, once I finished my 4-year degree in public health from UNCG, and I applied to the MRI program at Forsyth Tech. And so I got in, thank goodness. And with Melissa's guidance, I worked through that program and finished in 2014, just like she said. And I started my career at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, which is a level 1 trauma center. And I worked there for 5 years, about 4 or 5 years. And it was a great experience. It was actually where I had done my clinical rotations to begin with. So having that clinical experience while I was in the MRI program enabled me to actually continue on to get a position and to secure a spot at the hospital as an MRI technologist. So that was very beneficial to be able to go through those clinical programs and rotations at that large medical center. While I was working in MRI, I actually pursued my master's degree in healthcare administration. I thought, I would kind of move towards the radiology administration side of everything. But honestly, while I was working in MRI, I said, I really enjoyed the medical device research that you kind of have to do being an MRI tech. So I started looking into Medtronic, things like that, and I found VIZ that way. So VIZ actually fell kind of into my lap, I guess you could say, from, my MRI experience. And they saw that, and they allowed me to come in as a customer success associate. And so what I do is I actually work with the hospital systems now that utilize our technology. And we decrease time to treatment for strokes. I can get into that in a little bit as to exactly what we do. But that's kind of my background. I've enjoyed every bit of it, but my MRI basis really has gotten me to where I am today, and is allowing me to move forward into my senior clinical specialist position that's coming.
And what's something that's really interesting, you talked about where we have to go through and research so many devices. And just for a little background on that, because the magnet is so strong, certain medical implanted devices can either malfunction or actually harm a patient if placed in a certain size of a magnetic field, a certain field strength. So we have to do a lot just besides getting the pictures. We have to research the patient, research, is this device safe? Is it not safe? Under what conditions? So definitely I can understand where that would prepare you for another type of a clinical field. So that's incredible. So you seem very enthusiastic about what you're doing. So what excites you the most about AI? So, and tell us, we hear about artificial intelligence, but just tell us a little bit more about that. And where is AI taking this field in stroke, early stroke detection?
So right now, what we do, which our FDA clearance for VIZ LVO, which is large vessel occlusion, that's our algorithm. We were granted FDA approval in 2016. So that's when it kind of started. So I was actually just finishing up I just finished the MRI program like 2 years into my MRI degree when actually my company was started. So with our current algorithm, we have the ability to trace vessels within the brain. So we actually look at those arteries that are in the brain, and our algorithm will trace those vessels until there's nothing left to trace. And say if it is tracing an artery and it stops, that means there's a large vessel occlusion or a clot, ischemic stroke. And at that point, it alerts the providers that use our technology. We have an application on the phone, on everyone's phone, and they're able to get loud alerts as soon as that LVO is called. And it is much sooner than what a normal stroke alert would happen. So basically, as soon as the imaging's done, it's sent up to our cloud, and within seconds, it's processed through our algorithm and goes straight to the provider's, the care team's phone, and it alerts if there is a large vessel occlusion. This allows the care team, including, interventional radiology, even the radiologist, if they want to, they will actually comment within the app as to, verifying whether it is a large vessel occlusion or whether it's not. But that allows them to decrease the time to treatment. And a lot of times we hear from our hospitals that these stroke patients are already on the table in the IR suite, getting their intervention by the time their regular routine stroke alert is actually even going off. So we're already saving 30, 40 minutes. And so, time is brain. So
that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, every minute, like 2 million neurons are dying. And so if you can save that, or at least a few minutes, you're saving, whether the patient is able to move their arm again, whether they're able to walk. So it really does help with patient outcomes because, we really do practice patient first. But AI it's branching out even past stroke. And I can go into that if you'd like me to in a few minutes. But we are really seeing the difference that it's making as we continue. I think we're in over 1,000 hospitals in the US right now. And so we're just continuing to grow. And we've branched out into Europe. And so that's exciting. So, yeah. But if you do want me to expand on what's coming in the future with us, I'm happy to do that as well.
Is that, well, that's one of the questions that, we're kind of talking about what's exciting about it. And something that you pointed out, talking about this unique application,
Yeah,
is that, a radiologist is human, and even a team of radiologists that read these exams, they could be reading for a whole trauma department. And so it's not just strokes, it's heart attacks. They're reading all these different modalities. And so how amazing when the technologist completes the exam, loaded in the cloud, and then the radiologist can be alerted, hey, it's almost like an overread. Hey, you need to look at this right now. So amazing technology. Absolutely. So what other advances are you seeing with the use of AI in medical imaging?
And just to touch on that for just a moment, a lot of radiologists do think that that AI is taking their jobs, which in reality, once they start using our technology, they realize that it's not, it's really assisting them.
Right.
So that's something that is really good to kind of make known to others that are kind of less aware of how AI actually works, because we're not a diagnostic tool, we are a triage tool. So we're there to assist in basically the radiologist read and the ability for these providers to see this sooner. Now, there are times the neurologists don't wait for the radiologist read necessarily because they have the imaging right there. So that does happen at times. But obviously the radiologist does still have to sign off on it. So it's still necessary to have those radiologists right there ready for you. But as far as AI, we actually just got approval from the FDA, I want to say last week, for VIZ aneurysm, so we can detect suspected aneurysms as well. So we're actually starting to implement those into our medical centers. We do have approval for pulmonary embolism and aortic disease. So we have algorithms for to detect pulmonary embolisms, and also to detect type 1 and type B aortic dissections. And then you're also able to view any type of imaging on the app as well, like AAAs. If there's an abdominal aortic aneurysm, they can see that as well. But as far as even branching further out into the future, we have a lot. We have spine, trauma. We have a ton of other modalities that are on our roadmap that we are kind of reaching towards. We do have intracranial hemorrhage that's coming out, and subdural hematoma. We do have a volume ICH. That's kind of what everybody's waiting on. But for the intracranial hemorrhage, it actually gives the neurologist an actual volume of the hemorrhage. So these things are just very exciting for this field, and the fact that we're able to move forward. And even honestly, we're looking into cancer detection and stuff as well. So that's obviously very on the we don't talk about that too much, but that's something that one day we really hope that we can actually move towards.
Well, and with mammography, computer automated detection,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're already seeing some of that. So radiologists should be used to that. And you said something perfectly. You said patient-centered care. It's not doctor-centered care. So it's patient-centered care. So we want to make sure that the patients are being, as soon as they come in, if we can assist them and quality of life can be preserved or enhanced, most definitely. Fantastic. And it sounds like it's just getting better and better. So how exciting.
It is. But yeah, I really enjoy everything that I'm doing. And I tell you, it's a big difference from clinical imaging, but it really is great to see the opportunity and how it's actually, I've grown in so many different avenues. MRI, my ability to be able to have that medical terminology and, even the anatomy, physiology, all of that I'm incorporating into like my trainings with my customers, because I have to go on site and I have to train these physicians, radiologists, neurologists on how our application works and how our technology works. And so if I didn't have that background knowledge, I wouldn't be able to speak to where they would understand, kind of what I was even talking about. I would be at such a lower level than them with my ability. So MRI's really helped me to have that confidence and be able to speak, eloquently through with anatomy and physiology and all of that encompasses. So.
Well, Melissa and Selena, this is a fascinating discussion, and I have to ask you both, is crossing over to industry common with your graduates?
We have had a few graduates that have went into sales or went into medical devices, research. We've had a couple of our students graduate and go into research applications, whereas working like with Siemens down in Cary, we had a couple of our graduates go down there and work in the call centers and work in applications where someone gets a new scanner, they come and teach them how to do all that. So we have had it, but this is a new one as far as with artificial intelligence. So that's why I thought it was very unique. But our students have found some great avenues. We just had a recent graduate that she's doing an apprenticeship down there with or an internship at Duke with cardiac MRI. So I think the one fantastic thing about this degree is that it doesn't hold you back from anything you want to do. You can take that expertise and customize it to where you would want to go, most definitely in the medical profession.
Well, and even to speak to that with, you have a graduate that's going into applications. Well, we have people from our team that are actually pulled from applications as well. So, if you start MRI, you go to applications, well, you can move on to, something even different. So just having that, that ability to kind of build your own future and kind of work your, work your own pathway to whatever you want with this basis. So it's exciting.
Well, thank you both for such a great overview. And I've got to tell you that if I picture myself and I'm a student, what do I need to do to prepare myself to come into your program, Melissa?
Well, the fantastic thing for community college, and it is exciting that we do have such great programs at the community college level, that's this, I call it a marriage of science and technology and patient care. Diagnostic medical imaging is just a wonderful career that, you have to be a people person. You do kind of need that technology, but I would say, and Selena, you can agree, 85, 90% is being able to relate to people and have that empathy and that caring, because we do practice patient-centered care. Obviously, an interest in science, anatomy, math, but really, we can teach you anything. We can give you those skills. You just have to be a caring person who wants to be in a helping profession, because definitely anything with direct patient care is going to be a helping profession. And then you can learn the rest.
Yeah.
I have a question for you too. So what credentials does somebody need in order to practice as an MRI technician?
Okay. Well, to be an MRI technologist, after you graduate, that gives you the ability to sit for the national boards. It's a national registry through the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists. So once you get your ARRT registry in MRI, then you can practice anywhere in the United States, and then it reciprocates into Canada and then parts of the UK. So that's good that it's more of a nationwide. Some states do have local licensing, but usually the national credential will supplant that. And
how long does it take?
5 semesters. 5 semesters. It is
So-
it is the entry the terminal degree for practice in clinical is the associate degree. So for an associate degree, students can begin working, and our students that just graduated, they're making, $35 an hour just right out of school. And then for, like she said, for administration, if you wanted to move up, there's bachelor's degrees, then that's a necessity. Education would be a bachelor's degree and applications. But to come right out and work as a working technologist, the associate degree is the terminal degree for the profession.
And, just thinking back 5 semesters, Melissa, in terms of people who are looking at this that aren't going to college, what does that mean in terms of time usually?
It begins, it's about, almost 2 years, I would say. You go fall, spring, summer, fall, spring.
Yeah.
So 2 years sounds long, but 5 semesters sounds easy, don't you think? It's like, if you say it's just 5 semesters, then if you tell somebody it's a 2-year program, they go, oh, I don't know that I have 2 years. Well, you have 5 semesters. You can do this. And our students have over 1,000 hours of clinical practice when they graduate. So this isn't just theory. We're doing a lot of hands-on, and we're so fortunate in this area, like Selena said, Atrium Wake Forest, Novant Health, the McHone system, and then all of our outpatient centers and our small community hospitals just creates a very robust clinical experience that students can get an idea of what they want to do. And some people love the trauma centers, and some people like the outpatient centers. So we give them a variety to choose from as well.
That clinical training is really what's so valuable. It can prepare you for, it prepared me for every pathway so far.
And for a little while, and Selena actually worked with a mobile company, correct?
I did.
Worked with a mobile company that comes in, and that's a whole different skill set, working at a different place every day, and the scanner actually moves to the different sites, and you kind of travel with it. So that's a whole different skill set. So it's fun, but it's a different skill set for sure.
It sounds very exciting. From a workforce perspective, are the job prospects good?
If I could graduate 30, I could fill 30, and it's a nationwide need right now. I don't know if that's with the Great Resignation and COVID. I'm not for sure. We can't quite put our finger on it, but there is a demand. And we always knew with the aging population, job prospects have looked, 12, 13% over the past couple of years. But we do see, even in this area immediately, there are needs. So if you ever want to go back to MR, I know about 3 that would hire you right now. They're always calling me. And I'm trying.
Yeah, I still get notifications on LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many MRI, even travel MRI jobs. There's a lot of options out there still.
That's great, and it seems like it's portable. Melissa, you're talking about the national certification and so forth. Looks like it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in a particular locale. You're not bound by your state or whatever.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, which is the fun thing as a teacher, we have graduates that go to Florida, that they're in Tennessee, and their managers will call us and say, do you have any more? Virginia, I just got a call the other day from Virginia, can we come and speak with your graduates? We have 3 openings. And so they always think of us first, which is, it's not us as the teachers, it's their students are just making such a name for themselves. I really think that adds value to the program. And so we're grateful for that they go and spread their wings and make a good name for themselves and for the college as well. And it all brings good light back to the college.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on today to SciTech. This has just been really exciting. And Selena, how would somebody want, if somebody wanted to get more information about your company, how would they do that?
Well, beyond, visiting our company's website, which is VIZ.ai, they could do a little bit more research that way on kind of AI and how it relates to medical imaging. But I'm also happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. You can get my information from Melissa. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of research that can be done out there. So if they do not want to look at anything themselves, they're more than happy to come to me through Melissa, or they can find me LinkedIn, or that's probably the best way to kind of communicate, professionally. So, yeah.
Well, it's been just terrific having both of you on today. I mean, Melissa with her special award, and Selena with your career, incredible career, and I wish you both all the continued success. Hey, Sean, you there?
I am indeed.
Any comments?
I just think it's a fascinating industry, but MRI specifically has always been like magic to me. It's it's so interesting. And I've had an MRI once in my life, and it was a little bit terrifying and a little bit interesting all at the same time. And so,
Right.
seeing how AI might be getting involved and how the industry might be expanding into these new technological fields is just incredible.
There is something that our company also does, is cryptogenic stroke work. So we're actually doing piloting. So we follow stroke patients.
Oh, wow.
And we connect them with cardiologists, and whether that means, any type of loop recorders that need to be put in, or any type of cardiac monitors, they actually connect the neurologist, or we connect the neurologist and the cardiologist together to follow the stroke patients. Because if you've had a stroke before, you're more likely to have another one again.
Yeah.
So just having that awareness. So anyways, I just had to add that because,
Well, Selena, looks like I'm going to be in contact with you in VIZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to always thank our sponsors. So I want to thank our sponsors, Carolina Biological, the North Carolina Biotechnology Center, and Cook Medical, and as well the SciTech Foundation. Thank you, ladies, for joining us on SciTech today. Thank you.
It has been a pleasure, and thank you so much. It's wonderful.